So I'm going to bring up the keynote speaker, Larua, with Autodesk. And we were talking, does anyone remember in 2007 when we had Autodesk at the session here? Oh, okay, Stuart did. Stuart was here. So Laura was actually here. Come on up. Laura was here at that meeting, was part of the group that she was working with at the time, was not the keynote speaker that she is today. And so Laura is involved in the strategic, I should probably describe it better to me, the strategic AEC construction side of Autodesk, and was obviously very involved in acquisition. Good thing we had a relationship in the past, right? So we all know who we were. Again, we worked with Autodesk for a long time, so it wasn't like out of the blue type of thing. So I'm going to turn it over to Laura, the keynote, and she's going to talk about their vision of BIM and moving forward.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Jim. So what I want to really do for you is I've tried to set this up to give you guys quite a lot of opportunity to do a little bit more of engagement with you guys towards the end. I have three main areas that I want to focus on with you guys today. The first one is I really want to talk to you about who is Autodesk. I think there's still a lot, especially in this room and with the folks who have been traditionally on the construction side, really think of Autodesk as AutoCAD. So I'm going to kind of break that ceiling for you guys today. I'm going to dig into the details around the acquisition of MAP. Why did we do it? What happened over this last year? And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about the future and where we as Autodesk see us being able to support this. And I just, oh, is that me? Where we see us and our ability to help support this industry moving forward and what some of the things you can expect in the future. I'm also going to try to leave, hopefully, a good 20, 30 minutes for us, timing allotting here, for an open dialogue. I have Andy Robbins, and we also have Stuart Barkoff with us. I'm going to ask them to come up on stage, and we're going to try to answer any other open questions that you guys have. Okay? You know, the vision of Autodesk is really about helping people to both imagine, design, and ultimately create a better world. That's what we're trying to do. And our software is a platform to help us launch into that. It helps us launch into that. It also enables us to create a very strong ecosystem, an ecosystem of partners, partners like TSI, partners even like Trimble, who work with us both from a development, both from a strategic direction, and what can we do collectively as software providers, as technology providers, as trainers, as support, to help move this industry, to make your jobs easier. Right? That's really what we're all trying to do at the end of the day. So what are our customers doing? As all of you, we're really focused on helping support our customers with the design, that visualization, and the simulation in one large piece. We want to be able to predict those real-world performance issues that are happening in buildings. And like I said, we really want to be able to get you guys to a point where you're virtually able to build it. You have a construction level of detail inside that model. It's not just a pretty picture, but it can actually be built. It'd be a real-world part, ideally, not something that doesn't have real-world dimensions on it, so that when it goes into the field, it makes sense. And when it goes downstream, it makes sense. So that's really where we're coming from. All right, so what happened? What did we do? All right, so back on October 20th, and I will take full responsibility for this because I was a major powerhouse within Autodesk to push this forward, and I think Andy and Stuart can attest to that, as probably Jim and others in the room. October 20th last year, we announced the acquisition of MAP. And I wish we had been able to share this with you guys at your event last year. But for obvious legal reasons, we weren't allowed to share that with folks in the room. We acknowledge that this introduced some disruption, absolutely. And more so in North America and in the States than it did around the world, right? Because, MAP is based in the UK. We have presence around the world with the offerings. But at the end of the day, the bulk of the users have been with TSI, and they're based here. So we worked with TSI pretty close, around the time of October 20th to share with them what was happening, to talk with them about what that might mean. And as Jim mentioned, one of the most valuable pieces around this entire portfolio that we acquired was what it represented, all right? We could have been what we've done in the past. A lot of people will say, oh, it's Autodesk, they acquired it, they're going to kill it. The products are dead, forget it, they don't get it. That's not what we did here, by any means. We saw the value not just in MAP and the people and the 22 people that we added to our family, We saw the value in the products and what they represented, the fact that they were already integrated with AutoCAD, they were working towards integration with Revit that we knew we could accelerate. We saw the value in their partnerships, right? The value that they had with TSI and what TSI was able to bring to the table. We embraced that. We kept hero products, hero brands, right? So when we look at what we did, we have 4 primary key areas that we still and will in the future continue to support around estimating and pricing, around your designing or detailing coordination, around the manufacturing and the production side, and also the management and, or manufacturing and production side, and the management and the installation side. 4 key areas that we will still continue to maintain and support and also further develop for the future of where these products are going to go. The amount of commitment that Autodesk has behind this portfolio is tremendous. And I think that that's something that you guys should not think is going to go away. Our commitment to these tools and what they offer to you guys is absolutely critical. So I want you guys to walk away to understand that we are absolutely committed to driving this stuff forward. And why is that? All right, so you asked, kind of why we did this. I've heard that from a lot of people, like, why now? Why did Autodesk, decide after partnering with these guys for, oh gosh, I don't know, Stuart, 20 years? Almost 20 years we've been partnering with MAP. And we partner with, other vendors that are out there as well, right? We partner with, Trimble and QuickPen. We partner with, some other folks that are out there. So we had these partnerships. So why all of a sudden did Autodesk stand up and say, you know what, we're doing this ourselves. We're going to bring this in-house. We're going to make this work. We're going to integrate it at a level that is beyond just, ADN or through API. Okay, 3 years ago, myself and our core group of folks within Autodesk who are 100% focused on driving the MEP engineering industry got commitment from Autodesk to make the investment to complete that life cycle. We're going after fabrication. We're going to close the loop, and we're going to make this happen. Okay? So that was the missing link. For us, that was the missing link, and that's frankly what we did. Okay, now that's not saying our partners aren't important and they couldn't do it without us. They could. But what's easier, building on top of an API or doing it directly integrated? That's what we had to weigh. And it was more beneficial for the industry to do it as an integrated solution. Okay? So what is our future? What do we think we're going to be looking at? What do we know we're going to be looking at, since most of this is under development now? Is this type of a scenario. Okay? Revit MEP with a direct integration with our CAD MEP, Fab MEP solutions will be driving what we do from modeling through into fabrication and be able to drive then directly into our CAM and our estimating side of the house. I know everyone's going to say, what's your time frame on this? I can tell you, well, legally I can only tell you certain things, but I can tell you that you will start to see progress on this next year. And we hope to be very, very close to completion, probably within 2 years, is our hope. Okay? And I know Jim, I was just about to call you Tim. Jim is going to be sharing some of the stuff that they're doing that's accelerating this as well, which is going to complement everything that we're doing within the direct development we're doing in-house. And I think that also tells a very important message with all of you guys sitting here, TSI's event. Think about what they're doing with their building data, right? You're getting, you mentioned it earlier, Jim, right? You guys are on the cloud, right? You guys have this already. There's power here already. This was the piece, remember, I went back to that shared content, database that's so rich and so important for driving what we're doing in fabrication. But we're extending that. Autodesk is looking to make that broader. We're looking to bring that into every aspect across that building life cycle. You have pockets of it right now. Take advantage of those pockets. Leverage them for the information that you can get at your hands, and it's real time. You're not going to have to go look in a book and go someplace else to get it. It's there in front of you, and that's really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, will Autodesk continue the development of AutoCAD MEP, or AutoCAD MEP will be phased out?
So AutoCAD MEP is going to be continued to be developed. It's on a slightly different path. So if you know what we're doing with AutoCAD, what we've done is we've taken all what traditionally were the AutoCAD verticals, AutoCAD MEP, AutoCAD Architecture, AutoCAD Electrical, and we've combined them together under what we've referred to as configurable AutoCAD. And the reason for doing that is because all of those additional discipline-specific capabilities will remain inside of AutoCAD. We are also looking at making some of those capabilities much more readily available as individual apps. So for example, some of the quick layout tools that are in there, or you know, some of the things, electrical is a great example. I know we don't probably have too many electrical guys here in the room, or women, but electrical has some great circuiting tools in there. We're looking at modularizing some of those, making them more accessible, maybe putting them out on the cloud so that you can use them more readily available. So it will remain, it will continue to develop. It's going to take probably a slightly different form over the next 3 to 5 years. Okay.
If one of Autodesk's mantras is data-driven design, is Autodesk currently or planning in the future to develop their own MEP content?
The content's a great story. We have a couple different strategies. We have, and I probably could have put that slide in here, huh? The one that we're working on. So our content strategy is really threefold, and you know, Andy and Stuart, you guys can chime in as well. We have historically developed the content in the box that ships with the products that is typically generic. Okay? We have the content that is loosely based off of manufacturer's content, and we develop that as well. We do have a collection of manufacturer-specific content. We have the Seek organization that helps to aggregate that. I think at the end of the day, a lot of what we're trying to do is build a platform that can support it. Because the challenge we run into is that the more specific you get with some of the content, it has to make sure that it works in the product as well for routing. To dig into some of the more specifics, Andy or Stuart, do you guys want to add?
Well, what our vision is for common content across products. So why would we need a separate piece of content for CAD MEP as opposed to Revit MEP as opposed to AutoCAD MEP? So our drive is to try and make that common.
Does that answer your question? Are you asking specifically for manufacturer's content? Meaning, are we going to?
We're going to evaluate design.
Mm-hmm.
Anything other than aesthetically or thermodynamic, you've got to have some dollars, which means material, labor, right?
Yep.
So if TSI has a workflow with buildingdata.net to help develop that, I'm trying to understand as a customer if that is going to become something that competes with Autodesk or not.
I think if you, excuse me, if you think about some of the slides in the presentation from Laura, and in particular think about the ecosystem that was mentioned, so working with third-party developers, third-party partners, TSI being a very prominent one, you know, Autodesk still needs to leverage that ecosystem to provide everything. You know, we can do so much in-house. Can we get to the level of localization that's required in-house on our own? Perhaps not. For some, we've got a starting point. For those of you who've taken the 2013 products, you download, install, you know, there is Imperial content in there. Does it match something that TSI, Building Data, is providing? No. Will it? Personally, I don't think it ever will. No. We need people like this to deliver to industry.
Exactly. I think the goal here is that our ecosystem is really strong. I do not expect us to be competing head-to-head with building data. I mean, that's not our intent by any means. They're experts in that piece. You know, we have a factory that builds content, but we have a factory that's building it in a different way, right? So the way, you know, what Andy's point was, we want to be able to build that framework, templates, if you will, and provide the guidance to the folks who are developing that content that's common across all of our applications. That's where our focus is. We don't have the ability or the breadth to reach into every single manufacturer that's out there to develop and support all that content. But we can build a very strong network and work with our partners to help us do that, and that's the most critical piece. Okay?